Hi, I'm a recovering addict. My name is Steve. This is On Life's Terms Personal Stories Series, Episode 9. This story appears on page 171 of the 6th edition of the Narcotics Anonymous Basic Text. They used together and got clean together, but this addict got active in the program and his brother did not. This Saudi Arabian member found in the loss of his brother a powerful drive to carry the message. Carrying the message. Using in Saudi Arabia means shame for the addict and for the family. If anyone tells a family that their son or father is using, the denial is often greater than that of the addict himself. My family had to deal with not one son, but two. Eventually, they could no longer be in denial about either of us. I found help in Narcotics Anonymous, but my brother did not. My family was always unstable, and eventually my parents divorced. When my father and mother were in the middle of the divorce, I found the time, the reason, and everything I needed to use. I started leaving school at midday to drink and smoke with my friends. I started with prescription drugs and sometimes alcohol. After the years passed, it became hash. I didn't complete high school. In Saudi Arabia, you can buy drugs in the streets, but only in special areas. It is a Muslim country and alcohol is not allowed, but alcohol is made illegally in certain houses. Sometimes you can find whiskey or other things that come from outside in expensive places. In these places, I found a sense of pride. I formed a circle of mates who would meet just to use drugs together. It very quickly went out of control as the need to belong to the group became the most important thing. We were all too weak to resist these peer pressures. At first, my brother used heroin and I used hashish, and I was upset because he was using heroin. I went to visit friends after Ramadan, a very important holiday in our religion. We used to smoke hashish together, but this time I found they were using heroin. All I said was, "Oh, you have something new here." As my addiction progressed, I found myself in the same marketplaces as my brother where they sell heroin. The dealer only said, "We finally see you here." I tried to control my addiction by using small quantities for short periods. Then it totally consumed my mind. All I could think about was how to take it today and how to find tomorrow's dose. I started neglecting my work and my family. I spent all my money in order to take my dose, which now became my bread. Using became my only way to practice my daily life, even though I started losing myself and my health. I was asked by my family to leave my house. I went to stay at my father's house and found a new place to take drugs. My family demanded that I give up drugs, and I promised I would, but to no avail. My sickness was stronger. My family encircled me to force me to cut my friends off. I told them I would, and then would lie and find excuses to take off and see them. In order to acquire drugs, I started stealing from my siblings' wallets and cheating my colleagues. I hurt my loved ones, but was able to stop. My life deteriorated. I felt abandoned and rejected, and this only made me hurt more and take more. Eventually, I went to the hospital, mostly because of pressure from my family and my work. I was absent from work often, and they sent me to the hospital to find out what was wrong with me. That's when I first found out I could not stop using because my body was sick. Everyone had told me about the pain in the joints, the nausea. I realized that they meant once the drugs weren't available. I went back to using as soon as I got out. Everyone gave up on me, and I gave up on myself. But my prayers to God, even under the influence of drugs, had an effect on me. I was finally hospitalized again, this time by choice, when I felt that the drugs stopped working. In the hospital, I was forced to attend a meeting brought in by NA's Committee for Hospitals and Associations, the equivalent of hospitals and institutions elsewhere. I used to take drugs with one of the speakers. I rushed to him after the lecture to ask how he had managed to stay clean all that time. His answer was through the NA program. He told me that after I got out of the hospital, he would take me to NA meetings. When it was time to leave the hospital, he took me first to my family, then to a meeting. I was astonished by the welcome I got at the meeting after I had been rejected by everybody else. I was amazed by the similarities of the sickness and suffering and by the varied lengths of clean time of the members. During the meeting, I was asking myself if I could really be like them. The answer was yes. I had become like them, and I belonged to them for 4 months. After the fourth month, I had an appointment with the doctor to follow up on my condition. I consulted my sponsor beforehand, and he told me to explain that my health had settled. The doctor asked me if I suffered from insomnia. My sickness surfaced, and I complained about staying up for a long time before I could fall asleep. He prescribed medication. In only a few hours, I started replacing that medicine with other drugs. In a few months, I fell back to the same bottom, or worse, that I was in before. I asked my sponsor for help, and he asked me to accompany him to the hospital. I agreed, and then I finally rejoined the fellowship. My brother ended up in the same hospital, and we began to stay clean together. I worked hard on myself, and my brother worked 2 jobs. Most of his time was spent with work. He didn't work in NA. I went to NA every day and was involved in service. I asked the man who had carried the message to me in the hospital to be my sponsor. My sponsor took me to work from the hospital every day during that time. My brother did not have such a person in his life. My sponsor had 3 years more than I did at the time. I stayed close to him from the moment I met him in the hospital. My brother stayed close to no one and became consumed with his life. My brother didn't stay clean. I tried to help him. I tried to speak with him, but I couldn't find the open mind. I knew that when he promised to stay clean for me, it wouldn't work. Our wives are sisters, and when they came to visit, I saw that he was using. I sent some friends to talk to him because I thought I might not be the best one to help him. I would feel nervous talking with him, and maybe if it wasn't family, he would be more relaxed. The last time he went to the hospital, when he went to Umrah, our smaller pilgrimage, he looked good. I never saw him alive again. I was with my family, with everyone, when we found him dead from a relapse. I said, I tried and tried to help you, but I know the disease was stronger. I felt so sad I couldn't help him. This has made me more active in my recovery and has helped me with the members I sponsor and the members I try to carry the message to. It has been 2 years since I lost my brother to the disease of addiction. The message that I carry is that my brother and I used drugs together. He stopped using for 7 years with me, but he wasn't coming to meetings regularly because he was consumed with his personal life. He was facing its hard conditions without attending meetings or working the steps. Even when he gave up on himself, the NA fellows never gave up on him. He ended up relapsing, and in his last relapse, he gave up his last chance at this life. It was his last dose, and he died like others did before him. It is the end of our sickness. We know we can't force the addict to recover. We can only carry the message to every addict still suffering the sickness of addiction. I thank God that He showed us the way to the NA Fellowship. Today, thank God, with the help of my sponsor, I have been clean for 11 years. I stayed clean through the death of my brother. I have been able to use that pain to help others. I have a job and family that make me proud. I no longer need to live in shame. Today, I have found the connections with my family and friends in the NA program that I was looking for in the drugs. Today, the message we carry in Saudi Arabia is that addiction is not something we need to be ashamed of or embarrassed by. The message that we carry is that any addict can stop taking drugs, lose the desire to take them, and find a new way to live. Today, there are addicts recovering in Saudi Arabia. Thank you, NA. This has been On Life's Terms. A link to a PDF version of the basic text is included in the description of this video. A full audio version of the basic text is available for free at na.org. You can also find a meeting in your area or online meetings at that address. I'm a recovering addict named Steve. I believe that every recovering addict has a valuable story to tell, and that story will touch someone seeking our help. If you would like to share yours or know someone whose story we should hear, please contact me at onlifestermsvid@gmail.com. Again, that is onlifestermsvid@gmail.com. Please help me to carry the message to the addict who still suffers by liking or commenting on this video and subscribing to this channel. Even more importantly, please share this video with other addicts that we may reach as many as possible. Thanks again for listening, carrying the message, and keeping the promise alive.